Deal with this, my lord. Laced with blood rot. Premeditate. Laced with blood rot. Popping the bullseyes. Putting in battering bolt face up with a +1. Battering bolt for 7, 10, 13, 16. Threatening double blood rot ponder and battering bolt effect.
Alright, Squire. In response, I will play a movable.
Okay.
In response again, I will play a sink below. Resolving said sink below. I will sink below again. Resolving said sink below. And I will sink below again.
Son of a...
Are you Riptide players tired of people de-reacting all your arrows? Well, I got the deck tech for you.
It has the Lord's stamp of authority on it.
Hey guys, Squire here with Royalty Card Gaming. And if you made it through that intro, that means you're here for Riptide. You're here for, to see the new arrow in action. You're tired of seeing your opponents de-react because we don't have Dominate and you want to know the way around it. And we have the deck tech here for you right here. This is Riptide's Traphouse. Something I've been brewing up, especially since the new arrow was teased. And it's been made apparent that Riptide has to go to second cycle in order to get the max value out of all of his cards. In the current meta, we have a lot of people running around with D-Reacts. Even ninjas are doing it. And that's really what turned on the villain arc for this type of deck was facing a Katsu and getting sync belowed from Arsenal. So without further ado, just hitting up a couple of the staple arrows that's, the deck is going to run. A lot of Rangers are going to run. Right here from the top left, we have 6 Infecting Shot, 3 yellow, 3 blue, 2 Sedation Shot, yellow, 2 Sedation Shot, blue. Then for utility, we have a yellow Withering Shot and a blue Withering Shot. Yellow Sleep Darts, it still hits the breakpoint for max disruption. 2 Endless Arrows, always mandatory. Then we get to more of the spice, and I think that is mainly the staple one that most Rangers run nowadays. From there, we'll go to the equipment suite. Due to the ability of Trench, you're not needing a Crown of Providence to get things out of Arsenal to cycle, and you get a free resource out of this. We're always running Trench. It is the staple chess piece in any Riptide deck. Furthermore, because we're not running Crown, that argues, well, what headpiece are we running? We're not running Crown of Dominion. We don't run that Royal Riptide-ish around here. So what legendary headpiece is Riptide going to use? And due to the Bullseye's cut, we're really lacking on AB. So I have resolved to Arcanite Skullcap being the go-to headpiece for Riptide. Offers 3 block. He already starts at less life than most heroes, and when he's less than 3 arcane. So between that and Trench, you already have 4 arcane barrier. So that's the piece. In this type of the deck, we are running mainly 1 big arrow every turn, so we need more armor. Perch Grapplers really fills that slot. It's Blade Break, but for 2. And on the instance that, your opponent doesn't do anything and you've got extra arrows, you can activate its ability and give all your arrows go again. Weapon. Like the video intro suggested, we are tired of D-Reacts as Riptide when we really need our on-hits to be threatening, and we need to be stripping attack actions, attack reactions out of their hand for late game. So Breadbore is the partial answer to that. I know you guys are arguing, well, we can still go from Arsenal, but that is why we go with the Release the Tension series up here on your top right. Release the Tension, and your next arrow gets buffed, and D-Reacts cannot be played from Arsenal. So between the combo of Dreadbore and Release the Tension, we're covering that front, and as well as that's at least 6 times already that they can't use D-Reacts at all in a turn. And then with Remorseless, that goes up to 9. So there's 9 times during the game where they cannot use D-Reacts from arsenal or hand, which is going to cause them to strip attack actions late game from them. And if they choose to take it, the on-hits are debilitating enough that it's going to disrupt them. It's going to make their turns inefficient, and we're going to be able to make the most out of playing our traps on their turn a lot of the times because they're being forced into uncomfortable positions. That being said, talking about the traps, we run 2 of all of the base ones. So the commons being Inertia Trap, 2 of Frailty Trap, 2 of your rares are going to be Tar Pit Trap, Boulder Trap, and then another common one is your Blood Rot Traps. You're all running 2 of. Then the Arsenal Traps, which I've had the most fun with, Tripwire Traps. They block 4 and they have to pay 1, or on hits do not resolve for any on hits. So got that Bravo who crippling crushed you 11, but he spent all his resources to dominate it. You just flip this up from Arsenal. You don't have to discard 2 cards from your hand. You're still eating 7, which depending on game state could be bad. It's probably going to strip more cards from your hand. But most Bravos, like early to mid, are trying to get crippling crushes off this, which is where this Tripwire Trap really comes into play. Pitfall Traps are good in any state of the game, but they're most effective during the end game at low life totals because you wait for your opponent to exhaust themselves on resources trying to finish you off. You just flip this bad boy off, and if they're at 3 or below, they're just dead. Game's over. That being said, a couple spicy things with synergize with Trench. We have Oasis Respite. So if you ever have a turn that you have to be super defensive, you don't have a trap in arsenal, but you have an arrow, you can just trench it out, net that resource, basically playing Oasis Respite for free, preventing 4, gaining 1. And that allows you to put into arsenal any of the traps, including the arsenal specific ones. I also forgot to mention Pendulum Trap. It was hiding down here. We also run this set of rare. Some of the other pumps that aren't exclusive to this strat, but help all nonetheless. Seek and Destroy. It's the better inertia proc. So if we are trying to clog their arsenal with D-Reacts, trying to keep their handful of D-Reacts, we want to hit them at all costs with a Seek and Destroy because that's going to get rid of it. Rid of those. And late game, you don't want to see those because most likely you're running out of these Release the Tensions. You've gone through most of your Remorseless probably. So you really don't want to see those. Rain Razors is there in place of Lace with Blood Rot or the attack reaction that you can pay 1 for to add 3 into this attack hits, gain go again. It just felt better. It's a yellow pitch, so more resources the better. You don't have to pay anything for it, and it's an instant. Premeditate, that's a no-brainer. As I said in my first Riptide video, Riptide likes Ponder. There's no deck version in which he's not running these, and I would be one to state the bold claim that if you're not running these, you're doing it wrong. Let's see here. Drill shots come into huge play against like your heavy fridge matchups like Bravo, probably the new Tekla Vossen hero, going to be huge against. There's 0 cost arrows that you can recur with Codex of Frailty, which we run 3 of. They're staple utility arrows that must be included. Fatigue shot, a little bit more Azalea and Bravo hate. More so Bravo. He throws bigger attacks base than Azalea does, but it's still good in either matchup because it poses the question like, hey, on a turn where no D reacts from anywhere, I'm presenting this at you for a minimum of 9 with the +1 from Dreadbore, no D reacts, and if this hits, well, that cuts a crippling crush down to from 11 to 6, which is way more blockable, de-reactable, and a lot of chances that it's not going to hit. more often than not, they're going to block that arrow. A little bit more spice. These typically come into play during the late game. Your battering bolt series. These don't see a lot of play in many other decks, Azalea, Lexi, any of the Rangers. But when we were concocting this this deck, it was like, well, at the end of the game, all they've got is D-Rex in hand. So what are we going to do with those? What do we make the most out of that? Well, that's where battering bolt comes into play. You have a 2 for 6 that turns into a 3 for 7 if it's not pumped any further. That says if you're holding anything other than action cards, you're going to discard those and you're going to lose a life for each of them. So it's another end game closeout way to close the game out. And in the game in question, you'll see most of these arrows put on display. And obviously, these are just proxies. The set hasn't released yet, but I wanted to go ahead and proxy these and do some play testing myself with them. Intoxicating Shot, 0 for 4, the new Riptide specialization. When this hits here, they create a Courage and Quicken token. We don't condone drugs here at Royalty Card Gaming, but in Riptide's Traphouse, he's all about giving drugs out because it's got that double side effect. You know, in late game, if you let this hit, all of the traps are basically online. And if you're at 3 or 4 and I draw into a handful of traps and you've got a +1 and a go again attached to just a base weapon, I can just trap it out for the win. So in playtesting, this is the arrows work really good for late game. Do not recommend firing it any time other than late game though, because it has the real chance to bite you in the rear if you do it anything but if you do it early or mid game. Couple other mentions in this deck, we had a couple extra slots, so we're running Sigil of Solace, 2 copies to be exact. That extra 6 life feels good, dragging the game out as far as we can to late game. For the arm piece, the deck runs Hornet Sting base right now. It's 1 block. It's a good way to deal with damage. Can destroy a spectral shield when Prism's not expecting it. And if it's not an arrow off the top of the deck, you get to, there's a trap, you don't want to see it yet, you get to put it on the bottom of the deck. In sideboard, we do have the Van Brace of Determination. Not a lot of people have been using this, and not seeing a lot of play. It's good in specific matchups. Bolton with his new chess piece, whenever he charges a yellow card once per turn, he can prevent 1 damage. So that with the extra resource that we usually have floating, we can then activate this on the attack reaction and then negate that preventative effect. So that way the breakpoints are still coming in 4, 7, 10. They're still coming in. They're still relevant. And also, it's also good into Prism too, because the spectral shields, the ward, you really want something to hit and you're 1 off of doing it. You just activate Van Brace, and it's a really good way to negate ward damage. Anything I'm missing? And obviously, since we are running for the late game, we're always going to be running the Quiver of Abyssal Depths. We obviously don't have Remembrance in here. We already have enough non-block as it is with the Rain Razors and the Oasis Respites. I'm pretty sure there's more stuff that I'm missing that's probably non-block. I don't see any, though, on the table at this moment. So that is the deck tech in essence. Without further ado, we will go ahead and get into the video gameplay, the 1 live game we have with this. We're facing a Dorinthia, and it was really good because it got to showcase the new Intoxicating Shot's ability, how threatening it is late game. So without further ado, transition. You can cut.
So what's going on, guys? Cody here with Royalty Card Gaming again. I'm assuming since you made it this part, you're here to watch the actual gameplay. Let's fix some of this playback issues because we're going way too fast. So here, I actually really need to slow this down. I didn't realize this was going to be going this fast. So yeah, starting out turn 1, Dorinthia against Riptide. This is Riptide favorite matchup. He's going first. We have an inertia trap in hand. It's arguably the best trap in hand for this type of setup because they're never going to be able to have an arsenal. So we start out blocking 3, waiting for him to react. He doesn't necessarily react, but he puts an Iron Song Pride, which can activate inertia trap. So we're going to do that, give him the inertia. It's going to be blocked out. He'll lose that counter. And he doesn't get to arsenal, and we do because we're going to use Riptide's ability to get something in arsenal on our turn, which is huge. Imagine your opponent going first, and you get to give me you take their arsenal, put 1 in yours, and you start your turn 2 out with arsenal. Pretty strong, honestly. And he took a damage for it, so pretty good turn 1. If you ever have an inertia trap turn 1, and you can activate it, like, it's a game changer. We'll see the route I take here. Card and arsenal. Do I use the pump? No, I trench it out, net a resource. Use that resource to use Dreadbore. No D-Reacts from hand. I don't know if he has any D-Reacts in his hand right here. I really can't see his hand from here. Probably doesn't, though. So, Battering Bolt. Good card against anything other than action cards. Strips the hand. So, I must not have had any pumps. I have a Release the Tension in hand, but he doesn't have an arsenal. So it doesn't make sense for me to pump it here. Rather save it for another attack. Pitch there. Spike Pit Trap, that's going to be useful later on. It's good pitch stacking. And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to arsenal the Release the Tension, and already turn 1 we're getting armor. It's a 1-block Battle Worn on the Refraction Bolters. Pretty good. That's the entire game plan here, is for every arrow that we throw, we at least want 2 cards or 1 card equipment, 2 cards equipment, depending on what's being thrown. So that way, at our late game, we have more cards than they do. See what's going on here. He's gonna plus his Dawnblade to +5, Spoils of War. And go again. So I have less life than him, so I give him the Arcanite for 2 block. So we have +2. And see what I give him here. The Tar Pit Trap, which will trigger him to take a damage. Doesn't really run any attack actions, but if he runs the attack that has Dominate, and if this hits, you get an extra intelligence for the next turn, that wouldn't trigger now. So going into turn, do I play the? I'm pretty sure I do, because it's not going to get any more value. It's either that or I trench it out. Which I do. Get the damage through. Pitching that Intoxicating Shot for 2nd cycle, pretty good. Sleep Dart, it's already +1, that's 5, so this will become Sleep Dart for 8. Pretty relevant against Dorinthia because she likes to use her hero ability in this spot. So 8, no D-Reacts at all this turn. I don't know how he takes this. I'm pretty sure we get 2 cards at least and equipment. It's full block. It's fine. We're only 2 or 3 turns in and we're stripping all of his armor. pretty good. See, we got a Rain in hand. We have an Oasis Respite. See if I get to do the tech here. It's very interesting. So yeah, we're going to Trench and we're going to Oasis here. Because it's basically, you're trenching, you have a useless card like a non-trap in Arsenal. Use that to Oasis, cover it up. Use Riptide to get in an Arsenal trap. I'm pretty sure that was a Tripwire trap. He's just gonna settle and go next, which is fine because we're gonna trench that out, that trap out, net the resource again to load. And for Dorinthia, this is really just like a no-win matchup. Like, you can't just swing your base weapon because Riptide will eat that and return 3 times as much damage, which Rain Razors into Codex of Frailty, 1 resource floating. It's pretty good. So, what do I elect here? I think I go for the Sleep Dart again, which I do. So this will be coming in for 6. No breakpoint, but that's still 2 cards or more equipment. One or the other. We're getting the Ponder, giving them the Frailty. Really messes with his turn. And he makes the misplay here. He forgets that Dreadbore is not an active ability. I don't have to activate it. It is a passive ability. So any arrow that I fire, no matter how I got there, no D-reacts. So there you go. The tech's already working, stripping 2 cards out of his hand for really, like, it was more than 1, but for the 1 arrow, which is, it's pretty good. You're always, for 1 attack action card, 2 block, you're always going to take that. Looks like we got a couple traps in hand. It's hard to tell. One of them's a boulder. I can tell that. 2. I think we elect not to take here. So we move to reactions. He's not going to do anything with it. He's just going to leave it base. We're going to just eat that 2 damage and move on with our lives, because we're going to be able to present a lot more. And we're going to heal back up that 2 he gave us anyways with the Sigil. Then we're going to pitch to load Dreadbore. Think we have a Release the Tension in hand. Yep, I see it. Choosing pitch appropriately. We don't want to use... That Boulder Trap actually has value right now, and we have a 0-cost arrow. So that's 5. That's a Drill Shot coming in for 8, only costing us 1 resource and a couple cards, a pump and the arrow itself. So we're at least getting equipment here. Like, yep, there's the Crown and the Courage. I don't know if we have a Rain Razors in hand right here. It's actually a pretty optimal play if we do. No, we have the Boulder Trap. That's the Boulder Trap in hand, which we're going to Arsenal. So yeah, he's obviously going to Crown. Drill Shot for 8, no D-reacts on the turn. Just means you're blocking with equipment and cards out of hand. Pretty nasty, honestly. Let's see what he elects here. Yeah, we didn't have any sound on this one. Probably for the best, honestly. There was a lot of noise going on that day, so you guys got to hear me talk instead, which is, I guess it's all fine and dandy, right? Explain how this is working out. But he elected to take the damage. We put a -1 on Courage of Bladehold, which means he gets no more block value out of that if he chooses to block with him. Pretty sure it has Temper, could be wrong. But he's eaten damage. Glistening Steel Blade turn. Pretty huge turn for him. I've got at least 1 trap in hand, 1 trap in arsenal. So for him to get over the top of this is going to be like, he's going to have to stretch. I'm pretty sure he does, but I forget how it falls here. Lots of thinking going on. But you as Riptide, you're living for these type of turns. He pops the Courage here, yep. He knows he's not going to get much more value out of it. So he's got Go again inherent. Courage of Bladehold, all his attacks are free. This is the type of turn, especially with Trap in Hand, Trap in Arsenal, we're living for as Riptide. Like, this is where it's already a bad matchup for Dory with like the DVX heavy. So we're going to block 3 base with Hornet Sting, Perch Grapplers. Great fridge for Riptide. And we block an additional arrow, 6. So blocking 6. He's going to like to do the Twinning Blade. Pretty good. Pretty good. We got to resolve Hornet Sting, which it was not. It was an Oasis, which is fine. Just second cycle Oasis is always going to be really good. As Riptide, we're always getting down to low life total, so that Oasis, that extra life, is going to be paying dividends later on. So he gets to do an additional swing. It's fine. This one's coming in for 4. It's a trap. I can't tell. Is another tar pit? I think it's another tar pit. It looks like tar pit. It looks like the guy holding the... So we're gonna get the last bit of block out of everything. He's gonna take a damage. I don't see the life counter on here, so it's tragic that we didn't put it on here. We thought we caught it, but we'll not really necessary for this type of deck tech. You're just seeing like the showcasing the deck and like how hard it is to get over the top of this type of thing. So you can see he's pitching that that blue overpower for later on. This is just a base sleep dart for 5 because of Dreadbore, but that's too. He's all out of equipment. We're like not even halfway through the game and he's all out of equipment. This is demanding 2 cards or your hero ability's gone. So, but he does have the Steel Blade in Arsenal this time. We don't have the Release the Tension, so you know it's not foolproof. The strat's not foolproof, but more often than not, they're not going to be able to de-react. So we got a Pendulum Trap in hand, I see. I think the very left card is another trap. I can't tell, though. Blocking 3 with the Intoxicating Shot with the Codex of Frailties, like that's the appropriate move. And we've still got another one pitched for second cycle. Do we elect to Pendulum Trap right here? Because he did react. But it's blocked, so I don't know, it could go either way. He's giving it overpower, so it hits. Now we have the Pendulum Trap. This is the appropriate play to play your traps. Is the attack's covered up, he still has to make it hit. So he's gonna obviously pass reactions back and forth until he's forced to use his overpower to make sure he gets the hit. Boulder Trap not getting a lot of value right here, but we've got the double trap proc here. He reacted. It's higher than its base value, so he's milling 2, taking 2 damage, and if he had more armor, we'd be able to put another -1 counter. So pretty good turn for us. He wasted a lot there, and well, we didn't really have to waste much. It's probably going to be just a pass back to him. He did strip our whole hand, but I don't know, that's the kind of the way we want to play into those type of turns. People think that early on swinging the base weapon is going to threaten Riptide, but most of the time, because if your trap ratio is correct, you'll be able to eat that 3, eat that 4, and return 3 times that amount of damage in this big arrow type of setup. Another Sigil, so that's a non-block. I think we got a Remorseless in hand. pitching. Gonna swing the weapon. One of these, well, not swinging Dorinthia, swinging Dawnblade. He doesn't have go again. We want him to give it go again. I don't think we have any traps in hand on this one, but that's okay. We let it hit, let him react. Because he's only got these refraction bolters once, so we want him to pop those. That is great. Now he's got to get the second swing through to get the +1. And keep in mind, like in this matchup, you can let him have maybe a counter, highest 2, because then you're waiting. As soon as the buzzsaw comes through, that's it. That's the end of those counters. We have the one card that's so he does get the counter. He does the puncture. We blocked with a remorseless. Sigil, gain the 3 back. We do have a premeditate in hand. I think that's what that is. Yep, there it is, premeditate. And battering bolt coming in for 9. It's pretty good. You know, he might have the D react here. We don't have the release the tension. But that's okay, because I don't think he does, but in the event that he did, that's still that D react. But we're shipping 3 cards out of his hand right here. It's pretty good. Battering bolt is really good into reaction style decks. And now he just gets to swing a base, a +1 countered Dawnblade. I think we elect to take it here because the damage that we are going to give back in return is just too much value. Let him keep his counter, move on to the next turn. That's another important skill with Riptide, is evaluating what your damage is going to be on your turn versus how much damage they can deal you. Here, max it can be is probably 4, unless he's got, you know, the 0 for 3 from Arsenal, but I'm pretty sure you have to respond with cards from your hand. So we like to take that 4 there. He keeps his counter. Pitch stacking, a yellow, release the tension for second cycle. That's a infecting shot at 5 already. Seek and destroy, release the tension. So 6 + 5 is 11, threatening blood rot. Pretty good. No D-reacts allowed. Threatening a better inertia proc. So the damage valuation was correct. Us taking 4 to present 11 to him. He's going to throw his whole hand in front of it. So it's definitely worth. He has no value. He loses his Dawnblade counter. I don't know how many turns in a row this happens, but he wastes quite a few cards just blocking us out for several turns from here. Another premeditate. Couple of infecting shit. So 2 pumps, and he will be able to D-react from Arsenal this time. That's fine. Very okay with that. I'm pretty sure that's an inertia shot at base 5. So double pump. So 5 + 6, another arrow for 11. Double pumped. Asking for his whole hand, or I get ponder. He gets seek and destroyed, which means his Arsenal will be destroyed. And that's an inertia proc, so he can layer those, so, but still the same thing. But he's going to throw his whole hand in front of it. We got any breaks on the pain train this turn? That's a frailty trap, going to be coming handy. That's remorseless, put face up +1 for 6. So no D reacts with a remorseless coming in, so 6 power, still pretty good with an on hit. Asking for 2 cards. again, that simple trait of 1 arrow for 2 cards every turn it'll eventually will catch up with them. They have a weapon, but there's only so many cards they can block with, especially since we're trying to limit the D-reacts. Yep, 2 cards every time. We have the released attention. Oh, we got an Oasis Respite. That's pretty good. 3. Blocking with an endless. He would have blocked that anyway, so it's a pretty good block. I have to see what. I think we might have an arrow in arsenal. Yeah. A yellow remorseless, a +2, so 7, asking for 3 cards. No D-reacts. And it looks like our last card is going to be put into Arsenal as Oasis. It doesn't feel really good, especially when you're running Trench. You ideally want to trench something out while you have Oasis in hand to really just... It nullifies the cost of the Oasis. It's basically another D-reactor 4 and gain a life if you're running Trench. And we're starting to filter through into some of these traps. Looks like coming in Steelblade Supremacy, so +2, draw a card on hit. It's power turn for him. Him using his equipment early for its effects, breaking it is like kind of like limited the ceiling on that, so no go again. We don't necessarily care that he's drawing a card, but because he has to give it go again. We do have the Oasis, though. We're just gonna look to take it here. Yep, he draws a card. But because he's used all of his go again sources so early, like, there's nothing much he can really do. Right there, you see he has no cards in hand. He's gonna have to draw that card to even think about reacting. You just call the bluff. He's just 5 damage at that point. He gets an arsenal. So Dreadboring. It's blue, so that's 4 +3 with a premeditate, threatening ponder, 7 threatening blood rot and ponder. Pretty good, asking for 3 cards or a D-reacting a card because we didn't block the arsenal display. But we're getting 2 cards, and he's going to take 1. So we get our ponder, we give him the blood rot, and we're starting to wear him thin. We're starting to bleed damage through. Get an inertia trap, pretty good. The inertia trap went arsenal. We draw up fatigue shot and the buzzsaw. There it is. I don't know if we hold on to it. I forget the play we made here. It's either we pitch cycle it or whatever. Waiting for him to react. He doesn't react. We take the damage and we move on with our lives. He's trying to pitch stack his important things. Look, he pitch stack an Iron Song, Determination with a Glistening Steel Blade. We don't necessarily care about it second cycle because we're filtering through all our traps. And we get around Dominate pretty well. So we got free resource to put in a Fatigue Shot. Pitch stacking that Buzzsaw trap right along with, so when he's drawing into his power turns, we're drawing into our power trap. It's the correct thing to do. So that was coming in for 6. 1 card for 2. We'll take that always. The on hit's not really relevant to him. So Rain Razors, another blue infecting, a withering shot, plow throwing. That should be coming in for 6. See what map puts up there. And it's just that. It's for 6. We do... No, I think we trenched out the inertia trap. No reactions, but we're just going to use some of our traps to just block damage. Do we just take 3? Now we give it a frailty trap. So it didn't go off, but that's fine. We're okay to give him 2 of our traps to prevent the 6 damage. And he doesn't know if we have any other traps in hand, so he doesn't want to react. So we're just going to arsenal that. I don't even know what it is. Could be nothing. But it is the mind game right here. Dory likes to play mind games, and Riptide kind of likes to take those mind games and make them his own. What are we pitching here? We pitching that Rain. No, we got to pitch that Infecting Shot. No, we pitched the Withering. An Infecting Shot, so that's going to come in for 4. Still breakpoint, threatening to Blood Rot, pretty good. Give us 2 cards or take it. Doesn't really matter. He has a Steel Blade Supremacy in hand, so pretty good turn for him, honestly. Taking 1, taking 3, he gets the Blood Rot. Feels inefficient sometimes to use that Rain Razors right there, but sometimes it's just the best play. Get as much damage through as you can. We don't really go wide in this deck, ever, so using that Rain Razors is kind of like a mini pummel to just get our status effect through. Coming in for base 3. We're just blocking with Fatigue Shot. Pretty useless against him. We wanted him to think that we've got the traps. Let him react. Yep, Iron Song. Does it give a go again? We'll see. We'll see. I'm not up to date on all of our cards. I wait for him to tell me whether it has go again or not. But it does not. We're taking 3. He pays for the Blood Rot. So this is going to be another Sleep Dart coming in for 8. He can D-react from Arsenal though, but threatening better inertia proc and the Sleep Dart. He gonna block this. Pretty sure. He should. He really should. Taken 2, so we get both procs off, the Sleep Dart and the Seek and Destroy, so he's got to use everything or destroy it. Dory is asleep. We draw up. We have Collapsing Trap. Pretty good turn to have it. Pitching his Go Again card for later. He's really trying to play it as smart as he can, but we are seasoned. We're going to let him react first so our traps proc. It's just 6 damage, I think is what I'm saying here. We like our turn of damage better than his 6. Reacting again. What do we got? We collapsing trap that. I don't think he has any cards in hand. I don't know what I did. Why I did this looking forward into the 6 with the pitfall trap. So 1, 3 damage. So that's 4 damage turn, pretty sure. Unless it didn't have go again, which is fine. But pretty good. And he's doing that much. We're saying, hey, you're going to be taking that damage with us. You're going to be taking more. So off the collapsing, we got a drill shot into our... Oh, no, not the collapsing. That was Riptide's ability. We pitched Dreadboard and a drill shot for 5. Doesn't really have any on-hit effects. We've already stripped his equipment, but it's still a 0 for... or 1 for 5 arrow in this instance. Pretty good. Yeah, if that last trap play could have been better. Using the collapsing right there wasn't the best, but the way he's playing, he doesn't have many go against sources. I guess soaking the damage isn't the worst thing there. He's got his Iron Song in hand, so we get to see. We do have Pendulum. We have Rain, Battering Bolt, and another arrow. So just coming in for 3. I guess he's electing not to do it yet. We take the 3. Like, we'll play this get to end game to where our intoxicating shots matter a lot more than your Dawnblade swings. We've got Battering Bolt coming in for 7. Pitching at Trap, perfect play going into second half. It's coming in for 7. We got the Rain Razors in hand. So it's arguing give us 3 cards, or you'll probably be taking that, and depending on what's in hand, if it's not action cards, if it's attack actions, like, yep, there's 3 cards, blocking more than enough. We know he'll cover up the rain, so we arsenal it for the next turn. Maybe we use Trench to get it out, who knows? Who knows what happens? It all depends upon what we draw. There's a fatigue shot, that's a tripwire trap. And I think that's another trap. Looks like maybe a pitfall? Can't tell. Cannot tell. But yeah, he's just going to... He knows he's running out of cards. We're econing a lot better than him. We only have a limited number of arrows, but we're making each one count more because of the no D reaction. He's having to strip things out of his hands. Release the tension, so we're at plus... Is it plus 4? Is that a yellow? I think that's a yellow one. So this is a fatigue shot. Not the best on hit effect, doesn't really matter versus him, but that's 10. That's 10 damage, bro. That is 10 damage. You can't ignore that. Even if the on hit isn't relevant. It's 10 damage in 1 arrow. No D reacts. So even right here, yep, just 3 cards. And he's going to come in for another base swing. We've actually got the tripwire trap to resolve. Pitching that route, pretty good by him. That's the thing, like as Dorinthia in this matchup, you can pitch deck these cards for second cycle. And any decent Riptide player will cycle these cards through, their traps through, to make sure that you're taking the damage and your power turns just won't happen at all, not even late game. But he's taking another damage there. Really unfortunate we don't have this life counter, man. I don't know where we're at in the game. It feels like he's soaking a lot of damage compared to me, though. Let's see what we come up with here. It's another trap in hand. I don't tell if that's one of the arsenal ones. Can't tell. Pitching the Codex of Frailty, smart move. Intoxicating shot. We're shooting him for 5 with an intoxicating shot. We're getting that stage of the game where he's just swinging a weapon. We want to give him a courage and a quicken to make all our traps go boom. And I think he ends up giving me 2 cards for it, which is pretty good for a, thing that's supposed to help your opponent. But if he lets it hit, then we're in business. Lots of thinking right here, like, can't be easy on his end. The thought of having those things, but he's evaluating what's in his hand. Can he really make the use of that +1 and go again? Which I think he kind of does on this turn. It's just we've mowed through a lot of his threats already, either by him playing it or us just making him block. So he elects to take it. He takes all 5. We give him the nice quicken and the courage. Those will break. We're going to choose to arsenal. Yep, that's a tripwire trap. It's pretty good. We got a blood rot, an oasis, and a tar pit trap. This is, you can't ask for a better, and he's doing an Iron Song determination with all this. So he thinks he's getting +2, dominate, and go again, just for free. But look at our hand. It's full of traps and oasis respites. He never gets over the top here. The Traphouse is in full business. Like, we've made it to where his base weapon swing will kill him. Like if he was at that life total. Or he's taking a crap load of damage here. So that's coming in for 4, 5, go again. So all the traps are online. He feels like he could be safe dominate, but that's the thing about Riptide. Dominate with the right hand doesn't mean anything to him because his hero ability lets him navigate around it very effectively. And we're going to make him pay a resource to let the hit effect go through. That's 4. We got to make him go over the top. Got to make him use it. So he's already taken 1. He's got to pay the 1 to let the Dawn Blade hit effect go through. Otherwise, all this cards was wasted for nothing. So he's got to pay. And if he chooses not to, we just hang on to our traps and have a great day. And he paid 2 resources floating for him, so it's pretty optimal. Waiting for him to react. Only one's getting through. And we tar pit it. The effect doesn't really apply because that's for attack action card, but he is taking 1 damage. The attack had to go again, and we're covered up, and we should be able to get something into Arsenal. If not, we can elect not to, and Oasis Respite instead. So he's got an overpower in hand, but even if he elects to do that, we've got the Oasis. Here comes the overpower, +4. We've got the Oasis in hand. This is as good as it gets. See if I like to do that, or do I have a spike pit trap in hand? Nope. We just go for the simple, hey, if we're at less life, we'll gain a life, cover it up. Beautiful. And Intoxicating Shot was doing its job right there, It was making it to where, like, well, he's probably got the traps that cause me damage anyway, so I might as well try and make this work. We're going to Arsenal. It's a trap. I think it's Blood Rot. Pass. And we got the Frailty, so if he somehow gives it go again... coming in for 3. We should just be like, hey, have it. And his stack is getting very thin. I will be popping my quiver here pretty soon. See what arrow we elect to put into the blue infecting shot. It's at 4 already. Release attention yellow, so coming in for 6. This is demanding 2 cards because it's theoretically doing 8 damage if he lets it hit. Fixing that Codex of Frailty again. He's got his blocks with his 2 cards. We arsenal, move on with our life. And we're trapping it out. Just keep taking the 3. We argue we do more damage than you. Yeah, you can only take 3 so many times, but you've only got so many cards in the deck with these pumped up arrows. So the name of the game is just remaining patient, staying true to your game plan, and not letting them psych you out. Because you as the Riptide player are trying to psych them out. We aren't stuck in the trap house with them, they are stuck in the trap house with us. So it's just is what it is. A terrible matchup for Dory, but what are you gonna do? And yep, that's an endless arrow coming in for 5. 2 cards, please. Popping the quiver at the end of the turn, see what arrows we get. Doesn't really matter, we're just trying to make sure that we always have the card advantage in the deck. So Intoxicating Shot, great choice. So Infecting yellow, Endless Arrow, and an Intoxicating Shot. It's the perfect combination to try and close out a game. We shuffle up, we offer draw, we offer cut, I mean. Not that there's much still left to cut, but we've got more of a stack left than he does. Doing an Intoxicating Shot. Just keep taking the 3, man. Trench that out, another resource. Save our traps for when it matters. It seems boring, but it's actually really brilliant when you think about it, because the whole thing behind Riptide has been, just swing your base weapon at him, there's not much you can do about it. Well, if the Riptide player is playing correctly, and especially with this new arrow, that's not a possibility. This is coming in for 5. Threatening that Courage and that Quicken token again, and we're going to Trap City. Capital of the city is the Trap House. Like, you can't, as the Dory player, you really can't let this hit late game. So he's going to give us 2 cards. It also could be a life total thing. He could be, really low. I have no way of telling at this point. But we are down to those low life totals. That is a for sure thing. So saving the Oasis in hand, arsenaling the Codex. We've now done ourselves justice because we can trench out that Codex. Steel Blade Supremacy turn. We've got Prevent 4. Don't think we have traps. Could be wrong. Is that a trap? We'll find out here in a minute. We've got 1 block left on that, so we're going to give him that 1, and then we're going to Oasis. Make him play for it. And we must be at lower life than him because we just gained a life. My hand went over there to, add my life. It's at 2, -2 now. Think about how many turns of weapon swings it finally took for him to get me below life total. Like, that was the first time I actually gained life in a while. So that's coming in for 5, threatening Blood Rot. 2 cards, please. Nope, he took the Blood Rot. Took the Blood Rot. Blocking with a route of all things. So we are chipping through. We can arsenal that bad boy and move on. There's the Buzzsaw. Excellent. Block 3. We're actually at low life totals now, so we actually have to use our arrows to block. He's just gonna try and be content with stripping that card and paying for the Blood Rot. But his one thing, strip 1 card. We still got 3 cards in hand, 1 in arsenal. Let's see what we elect to do with it. This should be a decent turn. I can't tell. We should have an arrow in hand though. We just need to. Did we just pass to him? I think we did. He's got a full grip. I'm assuming that means we have nothing but traps. I can't really see my hand from here, unfortunately. This should be nothing but traps. Just disgusting. And he's probably at like 2 or 3, so we just gotta make it work. And we give him the frailty trap. It doesn't trigger. We're just gonna use him to soak. He is gonna have to swing eventually. And I think we just keep passing. Taking 3. That means we have more than 3. Assuming we're down to like 2 right now, probably, if I had to guess. We use Trench to get an endless 0 for 5, threatening continuous hits over and over again. It requires 2 cards. Oh wait, he's got the D-React. D-React put in some work that time. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. And we've got tons of arrows. Just waiting on him to mess up and make the mistake. Go for the kill. Feigning death, as it would be. Great card. If you didn't have to take damage initially, by the way. Or fatal damage first, and then be threatening somebody threatening lethal on you. Cool card idea, in theory. We have to use the Buzzsaw here. He's content with that. But he's down. There's only 3 cards left in that stack of his in there. So just keep pounding, keep pressing the damage. Pitching. Yep, Codex of Frailty. Great choice. Withering Shot coming in for 4. It's really good. Really good. Really relevant to him. Or for 5, it was a yellow. It was a yellow, so really good. One of those we pitched earlier and we're running into again. Taking 2, he gets a frailty. Video is running a little long, but I don't know, man. This is a great demonstration for the deck. Coming in for 3 again, you know? Or 2 rather, sorry. So what do we give him, a card? What do we give him here? Yeah, just D-React, trap doesn't trigger. That's fine though. He's running out of cards, slowly but surely. Another intoxicating shot. Two block, yep. Let's see what's going on here. Another 3. Pitching, an Iron Song. Do we Oasis it? What are we doing here? Inertia Trap, very nice. Didn't trigger, but hey. He's on his last hand, no cards in deck. This is fantastic. Fantastic. So this is a blue that's coming in for 4. Sedation Shot. Not that it matters, like he's drawing all his cards anyway. But threatening damage. Another Steel Blade, that's fine. He's not gonna make it to the end. He's 3 cards. We've got plenty of cards left in deck. Really showcasing this deck's potential to, you know, not fatigue itself and turn that table on others who try to do it to you. Just keep blocking the 3, keep presenting the damage. Keep trenching. 2 cards left in the deck, but we've got arrows. Another Withering Shot coming in for 4. Just keep pounding, keep pounding. Not much a person can do about this. Like we've pitch decked the right arrows at the right times, economically conserved them. He took the 1, so he's getting a Frailty. I think we just put a Pitfall Trap in Arsenal, which is huge. So we're down to our last hand here. Pretty sure the 3. I was panicking, but we get there with the Pitfall Trap. He was at 1. That's a GG. Nothing he can do about it. That trap will trigger regardless. So we made it, and that's a GG. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it really showcased like the strength of the deck. One thing I will say, we min-maxed here for the Bravo matchup in specific. You got to be good against one in this meta, either Dromai or Bravo, and we don't have enough ways to shore up against Dromai, so Bravo was the logical choice. So if you take this deck tech, which the February link will be in the comments below, just be aware it is almost an insta-loss against Dromai, but that's the kind of meta we're in, and that's the type of sacrifices we have to make. Just hope to dodge it, and if you don't, just understand that, like, you know, there are limitations to every deck, and Riptide's is Dromai. Deck actually performs pretty decently well into Prism, has some good Prism matchups. The traps really limit her Spectral Shields. That being said, a huge shout out to Express TCG, our sponsor for our videos. The behind the scenes work they help us with, and the equipment. I can't say enough about what Matt and Michael do here for this community and for us as a channel. So do me a favor, the link to their website will be down there. They got some fabulous singles, whether it's Flesh and Blood, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, if that's your thing, any of those card games. Make sure you go in there and buy from them, because they really do cut some great deals. So without further ado, thanks for watching if you made it this far, and go Riptide, right? Great time to be playing them. Have a great day.